Hey people, Ethan here. This week on the channel, the topic is about being an ally or allyship. Um, that's a really broad topic. uh, so there's it's complicated. A lot of things interplay together when it comes to being a good ally. But I guess I'll talk about the things that affect me that come to my mind the easiest. Um, So the easiest part, right off the bat, the basic stuff is just respect. Trans people are people too. Um, and as an extension of that, I guess the most specific to trans people um, thing you can do to be respectful is to use correct names and pronouns. You know, that's the most important, I guess, when it comes to basic interactions between people. That's going to be the most apparent. Um, Another good basic thing is to not out anybody, because it makes things awkward, and it's also largely a safety issue. You never really know how people are going to react in any given situation. um, so that's the basic stuff that comes to mind. I tend to be pretty open when it comes to talking about trans related things or being trans, but I find that I generally don't joke about it really, um, unless I'm with trans people or gender non-conforming people. Um, so I don't really joke about being trans with non-trans people. And I find I'm just not instinctively comfortable with it. Or yeah. And I think it has to do with the fact that humor is this kind of meta and absurd kind of thing, and really only the people those that live in that identity or in that situation understand the rules instinctively enough to break it. um Humor is an interesting thing, and I would like to study it someday. um let's see. So another thing that kind of I get a lot when I'm talking about being trans is that people want to know what it was like when I was a girl. The when you were a girl statement is kind of a loaded statement for me. I let it slide a lot, and I even use it myself to describe, um, I guess the period before I started medically transitioning. But I've never really honestly seen myself as a girl. Like for me, experientially, I see it more like when I was less of a human being, and now I'm more of a complete human being, or this, yeah, non or subhuman time of my life, non-actualized human being, um, versus more together. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a depressing language in my head, but I viewed it as a depressing time, so it kind of fits for me. Um, Another thing that I get asked more often than I expect is, I guess, what's in my pants. And I can be pretty open about it depending on who's asking, really, and it depends on my comfort level with certain people. But the general rule is, at the end of the day, you have no right to know the condition of my junk unless we intend to make sweet, sweet love. So don't expect an answer if you're asking. Um, I guess those are really the things that come to mind initially, because I present pretty gender normative these days. Most people don't know that I'm trans unless it comes up in conversation. Um, I guess sexism in general bothers me, and I find surprisingly that it bothers me more than I expected it would to bother me as I transitioned. And I guess because being trans kind of puts me in the middle of this weird war between sexes or genders or whatever. Um, and like with most isms, it's a kind of an in-group, out-group thing. And since I've never felt like I belonged really in any sort of extremely gendered space, I've always watched it from this weird third-person perspective, and being on the outside of it, like from the outside perspective, it feels really dumb when it happens. So like trigger warning for bad language. So words like gay, fag, or tranny, um, like for the most part, haven't really been directed toward me. But whenever I hear that kind of language, it's really off-putting, and I can get kind of angry, um, especially if queer people or women are present for that language, even if it isn't directed at them. Like, and there's not really, I guess, bad intentions behind that language. Like people saying like that's so gay or something. Like it gets to me because I feel like you don't know the implications of that language if you're using it, and the history behind it and what it really means when you use it. But the people that do tend to use it, kind of just offhandedly, I kind of don't really confront them unless I feel that, I don't know, they will contribute somehow to the social justice struggle. I guess that's kind of like a bad stance to take because I let a lot of it slide. And really, like, the mentality should be, any person that, sees the light can be an addition to the whole social justice struggle. Um, but I'm a really non-confrontational person by nature, and unless I see, like, it be a huge pressing issue, like fists are gonna fly, or someone's gonna die, or like, people are losing privilege, not privileges, but losing, um, I don't know, things of, wow, just have a huge disadvantage. Like, or if there's, unless it's a huge threat, um, I tend to let it slide. Um, so yeah, that's, I guess, me being a bad ally. And that's something that I definitely have to work on. So I guess, what else? Just being aware of the concept of intersectionality is a good way to be an ally. Um, and the idea of intersectionality is how, like, we have all these different categories or identities that we identify with, like gender, race, class, like ableism. Like, we have statuses in all of these different categories. Um, and that combination that you or I guess that combination of identities that make you, that's the intersection that you reside in. Um, and if that's too complicated, I guess the idea of humanism helps. The idea that people have different experiences and that you should respect that, um, and try to understand people. I guess really discuss their anger or defense mechanisms. And their distancing reactions. So I guess just to try to genuinely understand people, and trying to genuinely understand others goes a long way when it comes to reducing these reactions. Um, and will probably even help you understand why you reacted that way in the first place. So just communication is good. Because at the end of the day, fear says the most about yourself. Like, your fears say the most about you. Um, yeah. So I guess that's really it. If you're making assumptions, I don't want to say don't make assumptions. I always tell people don't, like, if you say you don't make assumptions, you're lying because everyone makes assumptions. Um, that's just how people work. But if your assumptions are wrong, learn to apologize for that. Try to apologize for that. Like, that's, I think. I mean, it's good not to make any assumptions. It's good not to make any mistakes. I mean, that's ideal, but humans are fallible, right? Everyone makes mistakes. Um, just own them and apologize. And I think that really is the fundamental role to being a good human being. Anyway, this is 10 minutes long. It's a complicated topic. Got any comments or questions? Comment and ask away. Until next time, laters.